let's talk a little bit about software testing. So if you've been in the software space for a long time, the good old-fashioned way of software testing is manual testing, right? It's where you throw a bunch of bodies at the application and you say, hey, do these test cases and tell me if it works, and you probably keep track in an Excel file. There's actually still a lot of that going on, and that's okay. But as we move to cloud applications, we get more AI involved, you're going to have automated testing because the release cycles are happening so quickly now. You're getting forced upgrades from Salesforce, from Oracle, from SAP. And if you're just thinking you're going to scale with throwing more bodies at the problem, that's just not going to work out. You're not going to be able to get the headcount. We're looking, budgets are tight, and we're looking for ways to get efficient, right? So if you go down the automated testing path, there's probably the first solution is that you may have heard of is like open source Selenium-based frameworks to do testing, and it requires writing scripts. It requires having a coding background, and that works okay if you have a very stable environment. But if you're going to be doing lots of changes, if you're dealing with a very regular update cycle, if you're going through a modernization process, that type of testing probably isn't going to scale very well. Plus, you need to have very talented, very expensive people, such as developers, to write those test cases. And wouldn't you rather have developers writing code instead of test cases? So Tricentis has pioneered what's called model-based testing. And model-based testing is where we scan your software. We basically take a picture of it. And with that, we create a module. That module could be your Salesforce instance. It could be your SAP instance. It could be your Oracle instance. And what you do with these modules, you essentially drop and drag fields into your test case field, and you build a test case without using code. And when you drop and drag these fields into your test case creation, you can then say, I want this field to enter a number, or it needs to perform a particular step. You can add test data to it. So what you're able to do is use no code to build very complex end-to-end test cases. And what's also beautiful about model-based testing is the ongoing maintenance component. Because what's going to happen is you're going to change your UI, or Oracle is going to change the UI, or workflows are going to change. All you need to do is rescan that environment, and that new field that shows up or has been renamed will then automatically populate into those other test cases that also use that same building block. So the first thing is to step back and say, what is our mission? What is our mission around quality, right? And is our mission around quality, is our current approach just not working? Are we not able to keep up? Are we concerned that when we release something, it may not work? First of all, you have to say, what is our mission around quality? Because what I always say is, if you're going to change the way you deliver software, or if you're moving to the cloud, or you're wanting to use AI, in parallel, you have to have a mission around quality, and everyone has to be on board and bought into that. So you need to have that clear mission. And then you need to have governance around it as well. You need to make sure that when you do go down a process of test automation, that you have someone who is able to manage a test automation approach, because they have experience with testing and they know exactly how tests should be built, and that departments aren't doing their own thing. You do kind of want to have some governance around that. That's really important. And then you want to start with a simple test process, but that's also really critical. You don't go and say, we're going to automate all of our processes. We're going to start with the ones that are really critical. Maybe they're end to end, but they're also vital, and show to executive management that, hey, we can do this, and we feel confident that these processes are going to work. Now, the other thing I also want to say is about when you start down the path of test automation is you need to do your homework, because not all testing solutions are the same. And if you're thinking about going down the path of test automation, I hope you include us in that conversation. It's important to have POCs, do trials, make sure that the company that you're considering can support your infrastructure, can support your software, and is able to deal with maybe security requirements that you might have. So make sure you do your homework, because picking the wrong test automation vendor can actually set you back years, not help you gain the value from doing it correctly. And then I always like to say again, you need to educate the executives about why you're doing this. We are at a major inflection point, and that inflection point is AI being another cook in the kitchen when it comes to developing software. And the way you gain trust with using AI is having a robust quality program around software testing, and that has to include test automation. You're not going to be able to deploy AI with confidence if you don't know you're thoroughly testing it.